On Saturday, around 10 p.m., I was sitting with my back to an open window in the minivan that I live in, and I heard yelling. The people in Boise yell all the time, and lots of people act like assholes, so I don't really pay a lot of attention to that. Then it happened again, and I turned around. It was a cop in a car next to mine yelling that my time was almost up. I was parked in a 72-hour parking spot, and at that point, I'd been there 27 hours. I said to him, no, this is my second night, try maybe 48 hours, because I hadn't really thought about exactly how much time I'd been there. And then he's like, well, I'm just telling you, your time is almost up. No, my time was not almost up. I don't know if he's got a math problem, he's a bully, or what the deal is with him. But a lot of the cops are bullies here, and a lot of them just like to harass homeless people, and there's an uptick, not just in Boise, but all over the country, of harassment against the homeless. I was parked next to the police substation, and the reason for that is that where I normally park, first of all, the city council changed the parking code and also changed the regulation for parking areas to only 2 areas that we were previously able to park in, which has caused a lot of problems. On Saturday, there are problems with places to park in the shade here in the desert where it can be extremely hot. The city doesn't care about the homeless and is in fact engaged in trying to run us off, run people into the shelter system where they can be exposed to massive viruses. I'm already exposed living in the car because I have to have my windows down in the summer, and people have no common courtesy here or consideration and will actually intentionally cough on me. And I believe I've had COVID 3 times. I know I've had it twice. So the place where I normally park, there's a farmer's market on Saturday, and then also a parklet that was put in by the Development Corporation, which are used all over the country to block homeless people from being in particular spaces. That makes a lot of noise, causes a lot of parking, crowding, and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of wild people running around in the middle of the night screaming and yelling, and I have people that try to break in my car, and then the police tell me that means that they're thinking they know me, like they're trying to bash the window out of my car or something, and that means they know me, because all you get from the police department here is gaslighting and bullshit. So I go and park by the police substation where nobody else will park, and it's just me and one cop car that parks there. So I don't know what the big deal is, but they usually have somebody that comes and does some kind of gang stalking when I'm there. And landscapers and other people, and one day this crazy woman with a garbage can on wheels and stuff. It was very, very strange. Normally in the summer, I just park there on Friday night and then leave when it gets too hot, but the weather had cooled down a little bit. So I parked there to rest and recover from the last episode of COVID, BA 5.2 or whatever it is. And also, I had heat exhaustion last weekend, and I ended up driving around, burning up all the gas that I had for the week, going to 5 different parks, and 2 of them I went to twice, and then I was told that I had to move my solar panel and battery inverter by some guy that told me that it wasn't the city's job to take care of me. The city doesn't take care of me at all. The city only does things to harm me. So after this incident with the cop, which was police harassment, I called non-emergency to speak to a supervisor. Hello?
Hey, dispatch, how can I help you?
Hi, I need to talk to a supervisor for the Boise Police Department.
Okay, a police supervisor you're meeting?
That would be what they would have.
Okay, what's your address, ma'am?
I'm parked next to the downtown police substation on, I believe, 18th.
Okay, what's your address just for jurisdiction reasons?
I'm homeless.
Are you by the substation by the Red Lion?
By the what?
By the Red Lion Hotel?
Yes.
Okay, 2223 West Fairview, does that sound correct?
I don't know, lady. Jesus Christ.
What's your phone number, ma'am? Want to speak to a supervisor?
That's what I said.
What is this in regards to?
Police harassment.
And what's your name?
Celia Harrison.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and get this info. I'll have an officer reach out to you, okay?
I'm sure he'll call immediately. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
You're welcome.
I was harassed by one of your cops who doesn't apparently know how to do basic math earlier this evening. I don't know. He was in a car yelling at me. Well, I parked here in the spot that I'm in, which is a 72-hour zone, at about 7 p.m. on Friday, and he told me, he was yelling at me, my time was almost up. My back was to the open window of my car, and I heard an asshole yelling, which is normal in Boise, so I didn't pay any attention to it. And then he did it again, and I turned around, and it was a cop in a car. And I said, no, my time's not almost up. Try 48 hours, because I hadn't, I've been here 2 nights. Then later I thought, no, it's been about 27 hours. And he says, well, your time is almost up, and I was just letting you know.
Okay.
I am sick to death of being harassed by your cops for bullshit. Apparently, the actual crimes and drunk drivers and stuff, you guys don't have, you have plenty of time to harass homeless people, but you don't have time to take care of those kind of problems. And when I call and report that somebody's trying to bash the window out of my car, and I'm told by some gaslighting cop that the people probably thought they knew me, because when somebody sees a friend of theirs, they always just come up and bash their window out. That's a Boise greeting, apparently. And I have years of stories of stuff like that, and it doesn't get any better. And so that's why I say, apparently, he went to school in Idaho and can't do math.
Well, sounds like you're very familiar with the parking rules for the 72
I
hours.
am very fucking familiar with them. In fact, most people don't know if you park for one night in a 72-hour zone and leave, you're not supposed to come back for 24 hours.
Yep. So you're familiar with it, I would say.
I went to school in another state, and I have reading and comprehension skills.
And I believe you. So, did you get a car number off the car?
No, because by the time I turned around, normally I get videos, but I turned around. I was so surprised that the asshole that was yelling was a cop, and he's probably the one that had been whipping around, going by my car, and I was aware he was trying to look in the car. There's just a moderately obese woman reading something or eating something in the car or something like that, or adjusting a fan. There's nothing to see, and so I don't really give a shit if he looks in here or not. So I just ignore him. I know most of the cops here are assholes, and they hate homeless people, and they're bullies. And so I just am like, he goes by, and I say to myself, he can fuck off, and I just ignore him. And the reason that I'm here is that I normally park in the shoreline area, and so on Friday night I come here. The reason is the farmer's market and all the traffic. I have immune system problems, so there's massive people. I have to have my windows down. There's all these people walking by my windows. I just had BA.5 or BA.2. BA5.2.
Don't mind where you park. You know where you can and cannot park and for how long that can be. I hear you.
But it doesn't stop your police from harassing me anyway.
Well, there's nothing you can do to tell 300 people not to remind somebody about parking.
Why is he reminding me about parking when I park here all the time? And it's everybody, these cops all know I've been here, I've been living in my damn car since October 1st of 2018. And the reason is because I was stalked and harassed in an apartment building, and the police wouldn't do anything about it. Okay? Neither would the management company. Because the whole fucking world doesn't work anymore.
The whole history lesson on how you are where you are right now. I hear that you are knowledgeable of the parking laws, and if you're following them, there's nothing that the police can do.
Oh, I've been given 2 false parking tickets. That's not true. I've also had a false orange sticker put on my car.
Okay. Those are for court. I can't do anything about that.
Well, apparently nobody can do anything about anything in Boise, because why would they be allowed to give out false parking tickets?
That's false in your mind. I don't know.
No, it's not false in my mind. They were false, and I have documentation of that.
If false, then you can just go ahead and ignore paying them and take care of them, because then what will happen is you'll get a warrant. So my suggestion, Celia, is to take it to court.
They had to drop one of them. I took one to court, and they accidentally on purpose lost my evidence.
Okay, Celia, you can go to court over all these issues. There's nothing I can do for you.
I know there's nothing you can do for me. I'm just telling you, because nobody does anything about anything. It's Boise.
Okay, well, that's how you feel about it.
That's what my experiences are for several years.
Well, why don't you document it how you see fit and go to court over these issues?
Actually, there is going to be a case over a lot of issues.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and tell your cops to leave me the fuck alone.
If there's a violation of law and they see it...
I don't do violations of laws.
Well, I'm just saying, they're not going to ignore violations of law, okay? Whether it be you or somebody else or...
I don't do violations of laws, but they harass nonetheless.
Alright, well, Celia, I hope you have a better night. You know the parking laws. So...
You guys have to ruin every fucking night. It's either you or some thug on the street. There's got to be somebody that ruins every fucking night.
Good luck to you, Celia.
Bye-bye now.
Good night.
And all of this in the second best managed city, according to a financial company with an oligarchic agenda. This is really disgusting. And I've experienced this for several years. There is no hope for the Boise Police Department. Police oversight has supposedly been remade, but actually what they did is they shut it down so that the time limit for people's complaints would run out, and then they opened it up. And internal affairs is utterly useless. The police chief is utterly useless. Nobody does anything about the problems. And this is the policy of the city. This is coming from the city council. This is how they want homeless people treated, very clearly. And this is a city that, for a very long period of time, had massive amounts of money. And instead of building affordable housing, they chose to keep people in horrible conditions and treat people like garbage. And they have damaged a lot of people. They have caused a lot of people to use drugs and alcohol. And if anybody wants to know how that happens, I can explain it. For I don't even know how long they have kissed the asses of development corporations. The development corporations are controlled by the mayors. One of them is about to resign. Of course, as housing is crashing, his time limit was almost up, but he's bailing 2 months early. That's a beater. And the current mayor is sitting on the development corporation. And they go after the homeless. That's one of the main things they do. It's happening all over the country. They get massive amount of tax dollars, and they use the money for security and to put parklets in and stuff like that in order to run off the homeless. And it's getting really, really ugly. In Anchorage, Alaska, they've put the homeless people in a fucking campground, for God's sakes.